I thank God I got a job, especially in this time right now, because I mean, people are losing their jobs left and right. So yeah.
It might take us a little while to get to know what different things are and everything, but that's okay. That's just the way God made all of us. Don't give up.
She's a very unselfish individual. She gives of herself and she wants to help other people. You know, she sees herself as being important and that they need her to do this particular job. And who in life wouldn't like to have this?
Black people have disabilities. It's okay to have it. I have doubts. Because Down syndrome, that's my disabilities.
We have been successful with young people with Down syndrome, young people with autism and Asperger's, young people with traumatic brain injury, cerebral palsy, any disability that affects young people in a cognitive and a physical sense. We have had success with at Project Search.
We've changed our culture so that no matter who you are, when you walk in the door of this hospital, you are guaranteed that you will see somebody working here who looks like you.
Cincinnati, Ohio, on the Ohio River, is the home of the Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center, one of the best pediatric hospitals in the country. Children from all over the world come here for specialized care and treatment. Cincinnati Children's is an academic medical center, so education and research are key to its mission. In this environment of creative vision and innovation, Project Search was born, an amazingly successful program for training and employing people with disabilities. Project Search has since spread to well over 150 hospitals, government agencies, and businesses across the U.S. and abroad. This is the story of this remarkable program. It began with these two women.
214, so everything has to be done.
That's right.
Before you leave, so that when they come on Monday, all the instruments are clean, right?
That's right.
And you're the only person, is there anyone else who does this job, or is it only you?
Only me.
Only you. The original Project Search employee was actually a young woman with Down syndrome by the name of Annie Sublett. I actually hired her to work with me in the emergency department, and she worked for me for 6 months. And then the dental clinic actually offered her a position, and she's been there now for, almost 14 years. Works 5 days a week, full-time. So there's not a single child that comes to Cincinnati Children's for dental surgery who doesn't use an instrument that's been prepared and sterilized by Annie Sublett. And so we were serving all these people with disabilities, but we never hired anybody who had a developmental disability. I also had some open positions, and I thought, well, let me see if it's possible to teach a person with a significant developmental disability how to fill some of these positions. And that's really how it started.
Erin presented her ideas to Susie Rutkowski, a special education director who trained people with disabilities and helped them find internships and jobs. Erin and Susie's partnership was instantaneous, and together they officially launched Project Search.
We were trying to simulate work back at the campuses, and it wasn't very successful with kids with more significant disabilities. And so to bring them on site here and let them do real work every day, day in and day out, was fantastic.
I was a patient here when I was a kid. When I was diagnosed with diabetes, I was here for 6 months. And my job is to take the patients from their room to their appointments, like X-ray, OR, which is surgery. Also do discharges, where we take them out to the exit.
Jack joined our team. He was our second person we hired. We initially had some reluctance the first time we hired somebody with a disability. That person was able to stand their own and hold their own ground. That person's performance demonstrated that this can work, and the folks that have followed have held that same standard. So Jack came in, he met with me, and he said, "Bill, this is my dream job. I want to be able to work with patients. I want to be able to work with families. I want to make a bigger difference for Cincinnati Children's Hospital and the patients and families that come here." Jack held the most number of transports in an 8-hour shift that we ever had on record. Actually, Jack transported 35 patients in one 8-hour shift.
We were slammed. I mean, just call after call after call. And I think I didn't go to lunch that day till almost 2 o'clock, because, I mean, we were just so busy.
Wherever a project search program is started, in Cincinnati or beyond, the hospital, agency, or business using the program forms partnerships with area high schools, and high school students with disabilities spend a year in training. These project search students at St. Joseph's Hospital in Nashua, New Hampshire, are in a class learning skills like time management, budgeting, interviewing for a job, and resume writing. They'll spend more time out of the classroom rotating through internships in hospital departments that are best suited to their strengths and interests. Most of these students go on to find permanent paying jobs, either at the institution where they train or somewhere else.
We want the students to take on the persona of actually being an associate or a staff member of this organization, because we want the young people to start to act like, feel like, be like a young worker as opposed to a high school student. We want them to make that break. And the schools get excited about it too. The schools get excited about the partnership.
What we've been able to show is that people with disabilities are able to do very complex work that is systematic as long as they receive the right training. And so we train people in complex jobs. Some of those complex jobs are sterilization, taking care of isolates and incubators, working in pathology in the morgue. It's doing billing, working on computers, doing clerical work, transporting specimens, working in the lab. With the right training, people with disabilities can be among your best employees.
Jill is excellent on trays. She's very thorough. She enjoys putting up trays. She's really focused when she does it. When you actually watch her put them up, you can see how focused she is. Some of her trays are 130, 150 instruments per tray, and she can put up probably 30 or 40 different trays.
This tray's got 141 instruments.
So what we did was we have books that are set up with each tray, and it has each instrument on it and a picture of it. So she can pull the book off the shelf, flip through the pages, and actually match up exactly what she needs to put in. And after a couple of times, she usually has it memorized.
How many trays do you fill in a day?
Do my age, 32.
What does that mean? Next year you're going to have to fill more trays?
Next year I do 33. This is her tray. It's right front, second, third, fourth, and fifth.
The disabilities can present challenges for the employee and the supervisor, and Project Search job coaches help supervisors address special issues and make adjustments.
We were finding that when she worked 8-hour days, it was too hard on her. The last hour would be she'd be very fatigued. She'd cry sometimes. But then after we switch it to 7 hours, she's very happy all the way through the day, and it worked out wonderful.
Hospitals are awesome because they're sort of microcosms of the working world. I know Erin and I have talked about many times about the range of jobs that hospitals offer to people. Anything from a cashier in the cafeteria or the food court, all the way to very complex work in the emergency department or in clinical sterilization, and then everything in between.
Well, certainly I agree that outcomes for all of our patients include long-term ability to be employed, long-term ability to be useful citizens, to have their own feelings of self-worth.
Many Project Search programs have been in both large and small hospitals, but we've been successful in manufacturing. We're starting to be in retail, in government entities, in banking, in insurance. So Project Search can happen in a wide variety of businesses.
I have Williams syndrome, and so it takes me longer to learn than others. That's why they put me down here, so I can react with other people. I never got that opportunity before, so that's why I came down here.
Christy is a Project Search employee that just in my short time have gotten to know her. She has a wonderful personality. We did our performance review just recently. She was so excited that she got her raise, and she got such positive feedback. And it was wonderful for her that she has now decided that she's old enough and responsible enough that she would like to apply for a coach to give her the opportunity to live on her own. She's really feeling as though she's making a way for herself.
I always wanted to live on my own. That's been my dream for a long time. That's just part of life, you know. You don't live with your parents forever. You want your freedom, because I never did that before, so this is my opportunity, because I'm 32 years old, and I want to be around people my age, you know, so they understand what I'm all about, and I understand what they're all about.
It's a big step, and I think it has everything to do with Project Search, because she has gained that independence on just being in this program.
I'm a people's person. Yeah, I like it.
I think the Project Search employees really enjoy their work because they feel that they're making a contribution. And like most of us, they really do want to make a contribution. And they also see that they're benefiting the children just like everyone else does here. And that provides a very strong motivation and rationale for doing what they do well.
The diversity these employees bring to an organization enlightens the institution's culture, presenting new and creative points of view. This fresh and welcome change extends throughout the city of Cincinnati and beyond as the program expands and employees find work in other places.
I can partner with a school, and I can bring in 12 young adult students with disabilities and allow them to rotate through 3 internships over the course of the year. And before I know it, I have upwards of 20 department heads who've now seen what a person with a disability can do, who's now seen their potential. I have upwards of 20 groups of staff who've now seen a person with a disability through different eyes. And suddenly they become someone who is capable and has something to offer. And we have countless patients and parents and visitors who've now interacted with people with disabilities in a way that they've never ever experienced before. And all of a sudden, before you know it, our culture has changed.
If they're hard workers, they come to work every day, they do their job. There's not drama that you sometimes have with typical staff. They're here because they want to be here, they want to work, and they're great to work with. Eric brings a personality to the department that nobody else has. Everybody loves Eric. He's funny, he's witty, he loves sports. He's just great for the department.
I do have a great boss. She helps me a lot. Her name is Joanne, and I appreciate she helps me a lot.
She brings a lot of laughter and joy to the department. She's very funny. She likes to portray Michael Jackson. And some days when it's really busy, she'll do the Michael Jackson moonwalk and get everybody laughing.
New parents of children with disabilities are encouraged by what they see at Children's. A woman who had given birth to a baby with Down syndrome wrote a letter to the hospital after her delivery.
She said that the best part of the entire hospitalization was the day that Gretchen, who was probably in her 20s at the time, walked into the room, took a look at the baby, and said to the mom, "What a cute baby." And she then proceeded to stock every single supply in that room. And the mom said that was the turning point of the hospitalization for her, the most important point, because she knew that her baby could grow up and be productively employed. And so for her, that experience, more than anything else, changed the outcome for her family and probably for that little baby.
Tell me what you do in your job.
I work clean, mop, and wiggle.
Gretchen is 35, and when she was born with Down syndrome, I had very little knowledge of Down syndrome, so it was quite a shock. And doctors and nurses were, they felt that she should eventually be institutionalized. But that really was the feeling back in 1975. I did not believe that she was ever going to hold a full-time job.
She works 8 hours a day. She's here for luncheon, so it's 8.5 hours. And she works 5 days a week. And she loves it. The purpose of being at the hospital and being an employee of the hospital is to make children well and to take care of children. She works in materials management now, has little or no contact with the patients, but she says she's helping children get well. So has just a wonderful purpose in her life.
I was very amazed when I first got here. I thought, I don't know if this is going to work, but it's just great. I was very surprised at the productivity level.
Hi, Gretchen. How are you?
Project search people, just like any other employee, they have the same policies we do, and they're held accountable, just like anybody else in the department.
Are you going to sweep after you're done with that, or are you going to do nipples?
I do nipple first.
You'll do the nipples first?
Yeah.
Okay.
They know their jobs, and they do their jobs, and if they don't, then they would receive corrective action just like anybody.
Yeah.
There's no bounds to this job for her. It's her whole life. She is happy.
The clients for Project Search, while they do complex jobs, they're often repetitious jobs, and those are positions that historically have been very difficult to fill and maintain people in those positions. They had a high turnover rate. They had a high absentee rate. And what we found with Project Search is those folks tend not to leave those positions. In fact, they're upset if they don't come to work on a given day. And so that helps me. That helps my hospital's bottom line by saving money on recruitment and retention, saving money on retraining new people to perform the same tasks.
We find that the cost of an accommodation or adaptation in general is less than $100 per person that we hire, which is no different, maybe even less than what we might spend adapting a desk or a keyboard for someone without a disability. It's just no different.
I have more responsibility. Like, I have to clean the house, I have to learn how to cook my own meal, budget my own money.
We have this group that meets every Thursday, and we call it Job Club. It allows all of our employees with disabilities to come together for an hour a week and to talk about any issues that are important to them in the workplace at that time. If we have a question come up about dating, we can talk about that at Job Club. If there's been a problem, if someone's not understood something that their manager has said, we can talk about that at Job Club.
I live Ohio with my parents. I'm with my parents and my brother, my sister. My cousins is up here, and my grandma is passed away this month. I miss her very much.
How do you feel about your work?
I love my job, and I love being here.
Kirk was just short of his 5th birthday when he had a stroke. I didn't know where he was going to end up. I knew he would always be happy, and I knew he would always be active. But in my mind, it was going to be the challenge to keep finding things that he would be interested in and things that he would gain something from. And as much time as we spent here over the years, it never occurred to me that he would have a job here. He sees other children here, and it brings back memories sometimes for him, and so he relates to it that way. And I think he knows he's giving back. You know, you can advocate for your child or your young adult, and you can put them in every positive situation you can put them in, but you can't go out and find a job for them.
Project Search, which began with one emergency room nurse and one employee, now reaches far beyond Cincinnati, and it's still growing. Aaron and Susie are overseeing training at sites across the U.S., Canada, and abroad. Institutions which establish partnerships with Project Search commit themselves to certain fidelity standards and agree to follow the model program established at Cincinnati Children's.
Right now we have almost 150 sites. Next year we'll grow exponentially because the Georgia group will grow from 10 to 20 sites. The Florida group will grow from, again, about 10 or 12 sites to almost 18 or 20 sites. We're going to go from 150 sites to easily 250 sites next year. It's fantastic. And when you think about the opportunities, not just for the employers, but for the young peoples and their family as well, it's unbelievable sometimes. Sometimes I can't fathom it.
In my experience, there are two things which are most important to people with disabilities and how they define themselves. I think one is work. I think the other is love. And sometimes you get to both of those through work. One of the things that makes me the most happy is that they also start meeting people. Their self-esteem grows, their belief in themselves grows, and they start meeting folks and they end up getting married. And so in the past 14 years, I believe we've had 5 marriages of people who work here at Children's Hospital and are about to have our 6th. And that's huge to me.
I am in the process right now. I've already got an apartment, and me and my girlfriend are in the process of moving in together. As a matter of fact, it's going to be today. So yeah.
Congratulations.
As soon as I get off work, yeah. So yeah, I got to go home and pack everything out of Mom's house, and yeah. So yeah.
Well, my favorite team. You remember my favorite team? Pittsburgh Steelers and pull out.
You know, if everybody else is wearing jeans on Friday, they want to be able to do that. If everybody else is going out for dinner for a holiday, they want to be able to do that too. And they want to be part of conversations. They want to be part of whatever it is that people are gossiping about. They want that opportunity also. People with disabilities want to be able to contribute. They want to be able to answer the question, what do you do? I work at Cincinnati Children's. I work at Fifth Third Bank. I work at, the Northeast Georgia Medical Center. People want to be able to say where they work with pride.
This place is, so amazing. I just, each day I come in here and I learn something new every day. Because, we got people coming all the way from across the world just to come to this hospital.
Project Search is an affirmation of hope for people with disabilities. The culture of a workplace is made richer and deeper by the fresh attitudes these employees bring, by their spirit of pride, enthusiasm, and humor. At the core of the program is a belief in the human potential that engenders a truly diverse culture where everyone thrives and finds reward.
I think it just takes some time, because if you believe in yourself, other people would believe in you, and you can do it if you just put your mind and your soul and heart to it.